So welcome back, everyone. My next guest has been on with me several times. It's also been on my television show, too.
Absolutely.
We're live on Facebook, so hi to everybody. Like us, follow us. We're going to share the show after the show so that you guys can all check it out again. Scott Rulon, he is the owner of Rulon Financial. You are a financial advisor, but you specialize in college funding. Thank you for that, because like I told you before, I wish I knew you a long time ago.
Right.
But tell everybody a little bit about yourself. But how can Uncle Sam pay for your college funding? Amazing that you can even ask that question. How can I?
Absolutely, because as we're getting close to the end of the year, we know it's almost tax time. And one of the things that we can do with our tax returns, especially if we earn less than $160,000 a year, you know, Uncle Sam provides a tax credit for college tuition paid. One is called the American Opportunity Credit, and by the way, that is a refundable credit. That means if it's more than your taxes, you can get that money back. The other thing is called the Lifetime Learning Credit, and that's another way Uncle Sam can help you pay your college tuition. So do you care where you get the money from? If Uncle Sam's going to get it for you, why not file it on your tax return?
Sure. And so how come some of these people don't tell us these things? I mean, it seems to me that everyone would want to know that.
Well, I think sometimes ignorance is bliss. Most people think that, hey, I make too much money to get aid for college and stuff like that. That's simply not true. There's a couple times of aid available. You know, we have merit-based aid, we have need-based aid, and just because you get a lot of money does not mean that your child doesn't qualify for merit-based aid.
Well, there's a lot of things that you need to know when it comes to college planning and also college funding, and you're expert at it. And I have to say, before I go over here, you just recently sent your own son off to college, fully paid. Am I correct?
Absolutely. We got all 4 years paid for Thomas to go to college. And
wow.
By the way, he's doing really well. We just took him out for breakfast the other day.
Isn't that neat? Now, I want to get out some of your information. First of all, you do free consultations for everybody, obviously, right?
Absolutely. We do a first-time free consultation for everybody. We sit down and talk to you for an hour, and we decide together whether there's something we can do for you.
So what we're going to do, we're going to let everyone call throughout the rest of the show, too. If you have somebody in college, if you know somebody that's going to college, you need some funding and you need to figure out how to do it, he's the one to call. Now, our number here is 602-277-5369, or you could call him direct. The number is 602-824-2299, and you could check him out on his website. It's Rulon, Rulon Financial.com.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's go for kind of some of this, okay? Cost of, what is this, attendance?
Yeah.
What is that?
There's a key formula for college, and this is what every parent should know. We have to look at the cost of attendance, and that's the full cost all in. So that includes not only your meals, your tuition, your room and board, but there's other things we forget about, like transportation. So imagine if we're going to New York State, or if my son or daughter is going to college in Hawaii, don't you think mom and dad would want to take a couple flights over to go visit them? Absolutely. So we want to know what the full cost is for college.
Here's another thing that they don't know, and I'm going to throw this one at you. I don't know whether or not this is probably something you know and think about.
Okay.
But when they go and they don't have a car,
right,
and they're out of state, like my daughter, she's not in college anymore, but I'm just going to say that being out of state, she doesn't have her own car, and she has to Uber it or Lyft it.
Right.
Let me tell you got to add that in too, because it's expensive. It's not cheap.
No, it's not. And one of the things you absolutely want to check out at a college, a lot of colleges have good transportation systems. Even where I went, the University of Texas at Austin, they had a complete bus system that went all over the city of Austin to bring us there. The kids that go up to NIU, remember there's both a East Campus and a West Campus, and the kids coming from the East Campus where the business school and the engineering school is, guess what? They can take a bus up to the other one, because I'll tell you time and time again, I guarantee your dorm's going to be at the opposite end of campus where your kids need to go.
Absolutely. Now, when you are working with someone, when is the best time for them to be calling you for your help, for your assistance?
Well, obviously, now is the best time, but what we like to joke about, as soon as your son or daughter is born and you know what their SAT scores and their grades are going to be.
Well, and that's a good idea. But here's the thing, too, let's say your child is in elementary school or even, high school right now, and they're starting to really get serious about it. I think the best thing to do is to call Scott and to talk to them, because you want to know about what they want to do. You want to think about the different colleges you want to go to, and you know pretty much every college out there, what they offer, right? Am I correct about that?
Yeah, so we like to take them through a career planning module, actually. And so what we tell a lot of teenagers is that, I bet you know what you don't want to do. And so let's go through a list of different professions. Let's cross off everything you don't want to do. And what we find time and time again is there are about 3 or 4 majors in the stuff that they do want to do. And we like to organically feed that up to the colleges they want to go to. Like, you wouldn't go to the University of California at Santa Barbara if you wanted a business degree. There are a lot of other better schools you can go do that. And so remember, the average college stay these days, unfortunately, is 5.8 years. So if you have 1, 2, 3, or 4 children, imagine paying $100,000 or more. That's for each child, by the way. So you're going to pay more than the price of your house for your kids to go to school.
It's insane. It truly is. But we want our children to get a good, education. That's what we want for them. But talking to Scott, when you do with this, you're going to learn ways that you can actually get it paid almost scot-free practically.
Yeah, and one of the things that a lot of kids don't think about is, remember, the second year, especially if you pay for room and attendance, think about becoming an RA, a resident assistant at one of the colleges. Guess what the college will pay for? Your room and board.
I know.
That's about half the cost of college right there, is the room and board.
But let me tell you, if you think that it's easy to get the job, it's not. Because everybody else wants it too. So right. So you got to check it out early and make sure you're on top of it.
You better believe it. So, college is all about planning. As we always say, a fool with a plan is better than a genius with none. And so we always encourage people to start thinking about college even when they're in junior high, because you never know what's going to happen. And I can tell you, my son, 1 to 18, those years went so fast. And all of a sudden, we were staring down the throat of some big college bills. And the one question I always like to ask my clients is, if you didn't come to see me and ASU put this tuition bill in front of you for about $29,000, I asked them, what is your plan to pay that?
The number to call them is area code 602-824-2299. His website is rulonfinancial.com. He does free consultations. I know it's Friday. I know you're thinking, this is not what I want to think about, but you know what? It's important to think about these things. And the people that are listening to this station are the ones that are paying for it. I'm telling you right now, they really are. And you know that if you're a grandparent out there, you've got children that are about ready to go to college, you've got, you said in even what did you say? Did you say elementary school?
Well, I like to even talk to some kids at an elementary school starting at 6th or 7th grade. Let me give you an example. When my son was 11 years old, we got him a plane ride on a Cessna 172. He came off that plane ride, took off the headphones, and said, "Dad, I'm a natural." So some of the kids, they know really early in their life what they want to do. And so I want to help spearhead those kids and get them down to what they want to do.
Well, he does free consultations for everyone. The phone number to call him again is 602-824-2299. Write it down. If you're not ready now, write this number down. The number is 602-824-2299. It's Rulon, R-U-L-O-N, financial.com. Before we go to a break, I want to ask you this. Free applications for financial student aid.
Yes, the FAFSA form. Guess what? We are in FAFSA filing season right now. For every child that's in college, they have to file one of these forms every year. And you need to make sure you file these things right, because when the government used to keep statistics on these, they figured about 70% of these came in wrong. Those cost you dollars, by the way.
Absolutely.
Lots of dollars.
And you know what? Most of them are done wrong. I don't think anyone knows how to do them. And when you try and figure it out, oh my God, it's terrible.
Yeah, in fact, there is over 129 questions by the time you add them all up together, and you have to know how you're answering those questions right. But there's actually two key places that most people miss, and if you want to find what those are, you need to come see me.
The number to call him again at 602-824-2299. It's RulonFinancial.com. There are two places. He just made a little bit of a gesture for you guys to know. There are two places, and all you have to do is give him a call.
Absolutely.
The number again is 602-824-2299. It's RulonFinancial.com. He does free consultations for everyone. And let me tell you, I know everyone out there listening knows, especially if you've had, and you wish that you had someone like this, like I did. I mean, really, we all know how terribly expensive it is, how much we want them to do it. And then what happens is they get these bills afterwards, and the kids are, for life, they follow them, right?
They do indeed.
They absolutely do. So again, give them a call direct. That number is area code 602-824-2299. It's RulonFinancial.com. Hang tight. We'll be back in just a minute. So welcome back, everyone. We're talking with Scott Rulon. If you've got kids that are young and are showing that they want to go to college, if you can tell, this is the person that you need to talk to way in advance before they even get near high school practically. Maybe they're in high school. Maybe they're showing it. You need to give him a call. He does a free consultation for everyone because he can show you how you can get through college on a dime practically. So the number to call him direct is 602-824-2299. His website is RulonFinancial.com. He does free consultations. He's the person that you guys need to talk to. It's too late for me. My kids owe a lot of money, a ton of money, and it's sickening what they owe. People only knew. So let's ask you this. How do I go to a more expensive college in a cheaper way?
Yeah, you know what most people don't understand? There are colleges out there like Northwestern and Colgate and even Notre Dame, which all cost over $70,000 a year, that you can actually go to cheaper than ASU sometimes.
How do you do that?
Well, we gave you that key financial funding formula. The cost of attendance less expected family contribution equals college need. Do you know that a lot of these colleges, including Stanford, will pay for 100% of your family need? The key is getting into some of these places. If you can get in, guess what? The funding is there.
So in other words, do your homework, get good grades, right? It's about working on it now. It's not necessarily just waiting till the last second and then saying, okay, I'm going to get this all done and put it all together. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and the one component that a lot of people forget about, we have a component we call designated excellence. So instead of grades, instead of just test scores, are you a good citizen as well? And one of the things that a lot of college recruiters like to see is, remember that class called Forensics and Debate? That is a great class because that tells the recruiters your communication skills. So we actually had a young man, he had almost got into Caltech. He went up there to go to his interview, but because he didn't know how to work with other people, guess what? He didn't get in.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
There's so many different things. You're proficient in this, and you know how you can guide each person, and each kid's going to have a different story. I don't even care if you have 4 different kids in your family. Each kid's different, too.
Yeah, in fact, I'm one of 5, and so I could tell you there were 5 opposites. That was us.
Yeah.
But I always knew that I was going to go to school, so my father had always laid that out, that there was no other choice.
Right, and you know what? A lot of parents say it, and you just don't realize how much money it is, and it goes up and up and up every year. It doesn't get any less money, does it?
Yeah, you know, when I went to school to the University of Texas, my tuition was only $300 a semester.
I know. It was a long time ago for me, too, and it was nothing at UCLA.
Yeah. In fact, University of Texas today, from out of state, $37,000 a year. So want to talk about inflation? You know what? That's one of the things we can plan for. We can plan for inflation, and we can put your money into the right investments so that when college comes around, you're going to be at a place that you can afford a large portion of it.
And the main thing is, Scott is an expert in his field. He did it with his own son. And you don't want to just talk to any financial advisor about this. This is something that you want to talk to somebody who specializes in the area, and that's what Scott does. Again, that number to call direct, 602-824-2299, and he will do a free consultation for you, no problem. He wants to talk to you. You're located at 59th and Union Hills. I just want to get that out, too.
Yes, I am.
And, he's here to help you guys. That's what it is. It's all about. All of this information that you're all getting, write it down. It's something that you might need either soon or later, or you might be able to tell somebody about it. Everybody knows somebody that's going to school. 70% go in-state, 30% go out-of-state.
Yeah, those numbers hold across the entire United States, as a matter of fact. Most kids, they want to stay in state when they go to college. As much as they talk about wanting to leave home, we'll find most of them. In fact, here, there are certain high schools, they send most of their kids to like NAU, believe it or not.
Right.
So, yeah, there are really 4 main colleges in Arizona and a specialty one called Embry-Riddle. So you need to know which schools have money and which ones don't. That's really important.
I also wanted to make sure we also tell them, we're talking about all the major colleges, but you also help people who are going to, if I remember correct, community, and also if they're doing a trade school too.
Yeah, in fact, I was giving a workshop about a year ago, and before I started the workshop, the janitor for the high school came up to me and said, you know what, my kids didn't go to college because we didn't have the money. I said, did you ever file a FAFSA form to see? So I asked him how much money he made. He told me, and I said, you know what, you'd be eligible for a $5,000 Pell Grant, so please come see me, and let's get your son into community college right now.
See, isn't that neat? I mean, and that's something that should really perk up people out there. A lot of people don't go to school, and their kids don't even go to school because they just say, we can't afford it.
Right, and that's another way to go to school, guess what? On the government.
There you go.
Anytime you can get money on the government, that's a great thing.
Again, that number to call him direct at 602-824-2299. It's RulonFinancial.com. He'll talk to you for free. He wants to help everybody go get a college education. And it doesn't have to be just a regular, it could be a great university that's a big expensive one. It could be a one that's right in state. It can also be like you said, a community college and trade school. I want to also go here now. Stanford loans, mom and dad, and no, what does it say?
Well, there's a couple kind of loans that you can get when going to college. There's Stafford loans and Perkins loans. The great thing for those is, guess what? Mom and dad don't have to co-sign on them. So if little Johnny or Sue doesn't pay their loan, guess what? Mom and dad are not on the hook for them.
Right. Those are great, but the kids hate you for it.
Yeah. There's another kind of loans that we talk about. Those are called Parent Plus loans. Unfortunately, those have an origination fee, just like your mortgage does when you get them. And guess when you have to start paying them back? Right away.
The minute you get out of college?
No. During college, mom and dad have to start paying on those. The Stafford and Perkins loans, you don't have to start paying those until 6 months after Sue or Johnny gets out of college. But the other loans, you have to start paying them immediately. And there are a lot of big players in this market. Discovery Card, Wells Fargo. You have to start paying on those loans ASAP.
It's really sad. Again, that number is 602-824-2299. I mean, it makes sense. Everybody, that's the dream for our children. We want them to go to school. We want them to go to college. And we want them to get a good education. And immediately when they start looking at it, they start getting upset and scared because it's astronomical, and you can even start off and think, okay, this is going to be okay, and then something comes up, they need money for this or that, right? And it goes and goes and goes. So the best thing to do is to start early, right? What's the best thing you tell them? Why should I tell them?
Well, you know what? I always like kids to start early because I want them to start thinking about the direction they want to go in. And, most parents want to know, when my kid gets out of college, will he get a what? You know that thing called a job? We want our kids to be self-sufficient and have a job that actually pays.
I want to tell you what happened to my daughter, because it can happen to anybody. My one daughter went to community college and then went, but the other daughter was starting in community college, and ASU asked for her to be in this program, a program that she does and did. And so we were like, of course, right? And we weren't prepared. So what happens with that? I mean, can you help people when it's something fast? I mean, she ended up having to literally get letters from people, in order to her to get approved to be into the school, into this program. And she happened to do it, and she got in. And we were like, of course, we would never say no, right?
Yeah. In fact, we had a young lady. She had to start college. She was starting college in 6 weeks. Her dad, unfortunately, had stage 4 leukemia. And they were actually going bankrupt, and they found out that they didn't read their college scholarship letters correctly, and she was about $5,000 short. So I actually have a mentor in California that I can call if I have emergency cases, and what he told me is, I want you to apply for another loan. I know you're getting turned down for, because that forces the federal government to give you extra Stafford money. And guess what? With 3 days to spare, we got her in, and we got her tuition paid for.
Oh, my gosh. Again, I wish I knew you. I can only kick myself, The number to call is 602-824-2299. His website is rulonfinancial.com. We have a couple of minutes. What do you want to talk about?
You know what? I just like people to start being college-centric and start thinking about the future. One of the most important things in my life has always been planning. You need to start setting goals out. And for those kids that really have a place that they want to go to, as you start setting those goals, that's the beauty of getting into the right place.
Also watch your children, too, because in the beginning, sometimes you don't think that they are even thinking about that. You might think, oh, my God, even with one of my, I never thought in a million years. But as she got more and more into school, and all of a sudden something changed, and you could see that she was. So you really need to watch your children, too, because they're going to show you what they want to do, right?
Well, absolutely. It's just like when you're talking to somebody and you hit their hot button. When you find what the kids really like to do, usually there's a profession that's associated with that, and there's a wide variety of things that they can do. I mean, even if they want to go into radio, there's lots of communication specialties like that out there. Great thing. So keep your kids in the right direction. I guarantee you they'll find a home.
Absolutely, but you want to work with an expert in the field, and that's what Scott is. Don't just go to any financial advisor. Go to somebody that knows about college funding and college planning, and that's what he's all about. His number direct, he does free consultations, is 602-824-2299. Write it down, because you never know when you need it.